through all of the trailers in this game, the one thing that stood out was Bad Company 2. And this is a game that I feel like I got to play multiplayer at a buddy's house. I remember destroying the entire map on the one that they brought back in 2042, that like harbor map or whatever, flattening the whole thing, playing hardcore, using shotgun slug rounds and sniping from range with it, which they do have slug round shotguns in this game already. But that's the one campaign that like the trailers for that looked hilarious. And that's one thing that chat was pretty unanimous on when we went through all those old trailers. That Bad Company 2 was like one of the best games. And then I saw this article this morning from PC Gamer saying that Battlefield 6's producer says that Bad Company 2 was a huge inspiration for the new game. And you can't argue with his logic. When you look for excellence in our legacy, that's where you find it. I didn't read this yet, but I figured we'd give it a read if he was interviewing it or see what the context was, because everybody's always gassing this up.
Teamwork, make a dream
do you
work.
guys think, because we're going to have a little downtime after the beta and before this comes out, should I do a playthrough of the campaign on it? Is it worth it? Or do we go back and play some of the Bad Company 2 maps within 2042? Because they brought a couple of those back,
Teamwork, make a dream work.
and you can do settings of Bad Company 2 within 2042's portal that I haven't really played that much. I saw it for like a day, couple hours maybe, but I didn't really play it. Do both. Giveaway. We'll do a giveaway after this, all right? And I'll catch up with all the alerts while it's rolling. Yes, definitely campaign. Battlefield 3 was the best campaign. That did have a really good one. Dude, the jet mission, when you were flying, insane. If they have another mission like that in this, because we're finally getting a campaign again. We didn't have one in 2042. They're going to do one, right? I don't know. Maybe. I don't want to get my hopes too high. I'm trying to keep my expectations a little tempered here. Nonetheless, let's see what it had to say here. Let's see what this article said. I was just interested in reading it too. So I've been trying to bring the stuff that I was going to do off stream just on stream with y'all. Since we first started hearing about the game that would become Battlefield 6, EA has talked up its mission to recapture the golden years of Battlefield 3 and 4. While it's definitely on track to do that, after my 4 hours of playtime last week, what revved me up was how much Battlefield 6 reminds me of Battlefield Bad Company 2. Have you guys gotten any of those vibes from watching the gameplay on this? I think the amount of destruction probably, I feel like that's what I think of the most from Bad Company 2. But again, I didn't play through it all, so I don't have that reference point. No? Yes? Yep. Yes, all caps. Not really. The most that I've seen equated it to is Battlefield 3 and 4. And that's what I can definitely say it does feel mostly like to me. Now, maybe Bad Company 2 is in that same vein. Maybe. It's well documented that the Battlefield series follows the Mario Kart rule. The one you played the most or first is probably still your favorite. Fair. Although my first one was probably 2042, but I played the most. I probably liked Battlefield 4 the most at the end of it all, but that's where I got experienced the most in Battlefield 4 on PC. There was bigger scale as well in Battlefield 4. Then I only played Battlefield 3 on the Xbox, which was limited to 16v16. You couldn't go up to 32-32 like you could on PC. For me, nothing has stood the test of time like Bad Company 2. Curated selection of mode, perfectly sized maps, and freeform destruction that let players blow buildings apart until they were nothing but a pile of disintegrated concrete. And that's what I remember of it. It's like, it's not even just like some destruction, is the whole building is on the ground. It's those infallible qualities, and particularly Bad Company 2's satisfying destruction, that served as huge inspiration for Battlefield 6. That, according to DICE's lead multiplayer producer, Jeremy Chubb, in an interview with PC Gamer at last week's Battlefield 6 event in Los Angeles. Yeah. When you look for excellence in our legacy, Bad Company 2 is where you find it, is the quote. That game particularly delivered on a level of fidelity and a sort of intimate destructive experience. Chubb continued, blasting out a single wall, bringing down a particular building or entire buildings. Oh, partial building or entire buildings. It was comprehensive. It felt like the identity of that game more than anything else. We know that was kind of missing from our last game, and we really wanted to go back to that. I asked Chubb about Bad Company 2 just minutes after finishing a match of Battlefield 6 on Liberation Peak. That's the name of the map. I keep forgetting this one. That's the one that you see me playing on here. This is Liberation Peak. The code name for it was Capstone. A map with a mixture of mountains, villages, and roadways that reminded me of DICE's build, of how DICE built maps in 2010. Wide open, but with an oblong shape designed to funnel the action towards a few choke points. And I'd say maybe more so. Yeah, it depends on the map, right? Like, there's definitely been good choke points on maps like Locker or even like Metro, but that's far more interior. This being an outside map, I was actually surprised at, like, when you're flying in on this map, watch, like, when I first was flying, I was surprised at how small the map was. Like, of all this terrain that we're out on, it's just this one little slice here that you're actually playing, versus if you think of like Firestorm and how spread out that map is, it's insane. It's so big.
Teamwork make a dream work.
So even like when I was coming around, sometimes I was like, I had to refocus on where is even the map. So I don't know if this is necessarily the wide open, and this is the larger of the medium-sized maps, supposedly, from what I've heard from some of the devs in my interviews with them. Although I don't know if those are public interviews, but that's what I'll tell you guys. Fair play.
Teamwork make a dream work.
Nonetheless, the map played very well, and the destruction didn't disappoint. Fair. Every wall and floor I tried to blow up did indeed blow up. Now, there's some exceptions to that, especially on this map. Right behind this at Bravo Point, and you'll see this more so on the attacking mode, the breakthrough mode, which this was back on Conquest. See if I can find some of the peak breakthrough gameplay for you guys. We only got a brief section of this on today's recording session that we had. But nonetheless, oh, it was right here. Oh, no, this was domination. Pretty much all of these buildings in this area were flattenable. But there's definitely, like, so breakthrough, you started on this side of the map and you work your way up. There was a lot of stuff that you could not destroy. Like, these rock structures you couldn't destroy, some of the walls. And then there was, like, metal buildings here that you could not completely destroy. You could not completely level. So there was still enough terrain. I didn't even notice this, like, convoy that allowed you to kind of push up and you constantly have cover. They designed it, they explained it as like micro areas, which we'll see how that actually plays in practice. But this is that domination map right here, was just in this point of the map. So it's kind of set up for smaller maps within the bigger maps. Yeah, it doesn't really have like the levolution of what we saw in like Battlefield 4. Nonetheless, every wall and floor I tried to blow up indeed blew up. Most of them do. And like Bad Company 2, structures can only take so much punishment before the whole thing collapsed. It seemed like it was like 2 grenade launchers or 2 RPG shots before it blew up.
Conquest was my most favorite game type ever. Hopefully they bringing it back like how Bad Company 2 was.
I think a lot of the older Battlefield players who played the old ones, that is one of the most standout maps, and why, you know, at least for me, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for jets, I was looking for helos, I was looking for tanks, I was looking for big map. I wanted to see that action for it. Other people, it is more micro-level destruction. The fact that it's only 32v32 now, maybe they'll have more of that detail. That's what it seemed like, even on those infantry and tank maps that we saw, like Cairo. Killing anyone inside. But you don't have to take my word for it much longer. The Battlefield 6 open beta begins. Game launches on the 10th. I would agree with that statement. I would also add BF3, 1942, and 2 to that list. I hope that means you could still do donuts on a golf course. There is a golf cart, so I would think there's a golf course. But that is going to be referred to the Battle Royale, which we did see one mention of in an interview, but they didn't actually answer the question in the interview we watched yesterday. The only real information that we have on that was the teaser that we saw. It mentioned labs. It didn't even mention Battle Royale, but I saw a post from a community manager. Did say Battle Royale is coming to labs. So pretty much confirmed that teaser is Battle Royale. Obviously, we've heard tons of leaked stuff online, but that's at least the official stuff that I've heard so far. Definitely need Metro back. The other thing that I did see on that same vein, since we're talking about all these old maps, I did see some posts on X that they are looking for community feedback on what maps they should bring back next. what maps do we want to see back? The first thing that came to my mind was Davidan Peak. I think that's one of the best maps that they've had. One of the best moments on the map without having like crazy destruction. I feel like it'd be possible to do. Cool tunnel, cool jet gameplay, cool cover for jets fighting, for tanks, going through the tunnels, sick. The wide open areas, the sniper lanes. Like, I feel like that was a really good, diverse one. But there's so many good ones. It's literally insane. It's actually crazy how many they could do. And they've already done bringbacks of maps in the past as well. So I hope they do that. Even in 2042, we already have Caspian Border. We already have a couple Bad Company 2 maps. Even 1942 maps. Wake Island, Parcel Storm. I mean, there's just literally so many that they could do. We'll see what they do, though. And I'm hoping we get a lot of maps for Battlefield, in particular, larger ones. We'll see how much the smaller ones also pan out into their favor. And what people create in Portal. How hard that is to do. If they can just even recreate other maps. We see every game pretty much do that with, like, even the old COD maps, especially since they're smaller, they're easier to make.